General Bipin Rawat, Chief of Defence Staff, leading the charge on setting up theatre commands. General, many thanks for speaking to us here on India Today. General, how many theatre commands are coming up, and where does Northern Command, that defends India's borders against both China and Pakistan, fit into the new scheme of things, General?
Well, we are considering national security as one issue which we must address. And therefore, one of the commands is looking at the management of the airspace above land. And therefore, we intend creating an air defense command which will be responsible for all the things that use the airspace, whether it is aircraft, whether it is helicopters, drones, UAVs. You have artillery weapon systems that use the airspace, where a shell fired from an artillery gun and landing at almost 40 to 50 kilometer range can go as high as 15 kilometers in the air. With this, we also find that we have a very large Indian Ocean region where the emerging threats we can see coming day after day and day by day. Now, these need to be dealt with. And therefore, we are looking at creating a maritime theatre command which will be responsible for the security and safety of anything that happens in the Indian Ocean region, including our island territories on the east and the west coast. Therefore, to coordinate everything that happens, whether it's the Ministry of Shipping, Hydrography, you need one agency to coordinate all that.
Okay.
And therefore, we intend creating a national maritime command.
Now, what happens to the Northern Command, sir?
Yeah. Coming especially to the Northern Command, if you see, Northern Command today is undergoing a different kind of a situation. We have the terrorism and insurgency which is going on there. The Northern Command is one command which looks after both the fronts, that is the China front in Ladakh and the Northern front in the Kargil sector. Now, this is one area which would actually witness a two-front war. And then you have a unified command headquarter which is functioning very well, which is ensuring stability in the internal security in Jammu and Kashmir, which, if you can see, is gradually improving day after day. But the fact that the situation improving does not mean that the situation again cannot turn ugly. We have seen this emergence of this situation, the way it is now emerging, going into I would say, some kind of semblance of peace emerging in Jammu and Kashmir. It can again turn ugly depending on what action is initiated by our Western adversary. Therefore, we have to be careful and not let our guard down, and we do not want to disrupt the existing organizational structure of Northern Command. Therefore, Northern Command, for the time being, will remain as a command, while we will have two theatres on the east and north and then on the western side.
There are reports that the Indian Air Force has serious reservations and is insisting on one nation, one theatre.
As I said, as far as the Indian Air Force is concerned, yes, the entire airspace of the nation will be looked after by one Air Defence Command. So we are creating one Air Defence Command which will look after the entire nation's airspace. But what we are looking at is, because you have a Western theatre and a Northern theatre, one dealing with our Northern adversary, one dealing with our Western adversary, and we are creating land-based theatres for them. The reason is, Air Force is not just responsible for air defense. It has got other charters. It has got a charter of providing close air support to the land forces when they undertake operations, and for offensive air support in case you go into the adversary's territory. Same thing when the Navy is operating at sea. The naval ships or the naval armada that operates on the sea also requires some air support in support of the naval armada. So therefore, in addition to the air defense, you are also responsible for carrying out close air support and offensive air support.
Another criticism coming your way, General, is there an August 15 deadline? Have milestones been set for 2021, 2022 and 2023? Because some in the Indian Air Force argue, General, that this is perhaps forcing impractical deadlines down their throats.
The issue of integration and jointness is not new. It started with the Kargil Review Committee because we saw what happened in Kargil in the manner in which the Army and the Air Forces operated. I think it was at that time it was realized that we need to integrate. And that is why the CDS came in. Now, CDS has not come in as one more entity to give you a fourth four-star general. CDS means Chief of Defence Staff. Let me assure you that all the commanders are staff officers in Army headquarters. whether it is the Chief of the Air Staff, Naval Staff, or the Air Force. They are all staff officers, so is the CDS. The battles are fought by theatre commanders, as they were done in 71 war. If you look at the 71 war, the Eastern Theatre was being controlled by General Jagjit Singh Arora with his Air Force and Naval Component Commander, and the Western Theatre under General Cadiz with his Air Force and Naval Component Commander. Yet, relocation of assets were taking place from the east to the west. As the Air Force of the East Pakistan and now Bangladesh was completely defeated, air assets from the Eastern Theatre were relocated and moved to the Western Theatre. So this kind of a dynamic change does happen. Air Force is required to provide support to the ground forces. Do not forget that Air Force continues to remain a supporting arm to the armed forces, just as the artillery supports or the engineer support the combatant arms in the army. Okay. Presently, we are wanting to give them 1 year's time. There is no deadline that has been set. We have only set deadlines for ourselves within the services by working backwards. We always look at the end state and start working backwards. We don't start, otherwise what happens is, if you don't set timelines for yourself, then you can continue. I mean, when the Kargil Renewative Committee said that we want integration and jointness with the CDS or a permanent chairman, chief of staff committee, if that is what they said, they didn't lay a timeline, so it took 20 years. But had they set a timeline, things would have happened. So we work on timelines.
Fair enough, sir. How would you respond to the criticism or the argument that the Indian Air Force puts forward when they say that their assets are meager, further splitting them into theatre commands? Would, be it their fighter jets or force multipliers like their AWACS or mid-air refuelers, in their appreciation, this may just be counterproductive, like the penny packet deployment in 1962.
Just the way they have presently distributed the resources amongst the 5 CNCs. Today they have 5 operational commands. However they distributed the existing resources, you see what happens is, today when you have borders which you are tasked to defend by the government through an RM's operational directive, you carry out an ab initio deployment to carry out the tasks which have been assigned to you, and therefore to ensure that there is minimum credible deterrence to prevent the adversary from taking advantage of any of your fronts. You carry out some ab initio deployment. Depending on then how the threat develops, reallocation of resources takes place. So what we are saying is, when the theatre commands come up, in the peacetime, you will have to allocate resources to them. Then as the threat evolves, depending on where the primary threat is and where the secondary threat is, you will then accordingly reallocate the resources. This happens even to the army. Today, all the army's resources have been distributed to the army commands. The chief of the army staff has nothing at his disposal.
Is this then all about turf wars? Will theatre commanders, as you rightly point out, they will be reporting to chairman chiefs of staff committee or to the chiefs of staff committee and the CDS. Will the CDS then become this all-powerful super general, and will the importance of chiefs of respective Army, Navy and Air Force, will it go down, sir?
Even when the CDS had not been created, the manner in which the battles had to be fought and the advice to the government was being given by the Chiefs of Staff Committee. All that happened was that the senior most serving chief became the chairman, and the 3 chiefs then carried out collective decision making and then gave their advice to the government of India or to the Ministry of Defense. The system is not changing. Only thing now, instead of 3 heads doing the thinking, you now have 4 heads doing the thinking. That is all that has happened. There is no change otherwise. As far as operational planning goes, the operational planning process is not undergoing a change. It is the same as it existed during the 1999 Kargil operations, 71, 65, or any other operations before.
How will jointness be implemented at a tactical level? One example that we often hear, especially from the army, is that, if I may, Indian Air Force wants more paratroopers to be trained for jumps at sea level. Then you get more numbers. The army wants it, given the scenario today, in extreme high altitude. So how will jointness in training be implemented when the thinking of the two services is practically poles apart?
This is not a very complex problem. We all basically start our training from NDA, the National Defense Academy, where the officers from the 3 services train. So jointness starts there. Then we have a number of other training establishments where we carry out joint training, whether it is Defense Services Staff College, Higher Command courses, and so on and so forth. Now what we are looking at is, if you see today in Jammu and Kashmir, in Jammu and Kashmir, along with the special forces of the army, are operating the Marcos, who are otherwise supposed to be operating at sea, but they are helping the army in carrying out counter-terrorism operations. Similarly, we have now allowed the Garuds to operate in Jammu and Kashmir. They are fighting alongside the special forces and the RR battalions and carrying out counter-terrorism operations. So all this is happening. Now I will give you an example. Today there are aircraft which are flying from the aircraft carrier, which are being flown by naval pilots. What is stopping an Air Force pilot from flying those same aircraft from the aircraft carrier and naval pilots flying aircraft from land-based airfields? Why can't you integrate that way?
Are we today prepared to protect ourselves from a drone attack, whether it's from Lashkar-e-Taiba or Jaish-e-Mohammed or this grey zone warfare, or it's the state, that's our enemy? In today's day and age, are we prepared? Are our VAVPs adequately prepared, sir, and defended?
Well, we have system. Firstly, we have mechanisms as to how we should counter drones. Wherever we have got counter drone systems, these have been deployed, and these are gradually coming in larger numbers, because we need a very large number of counter drone systems if we have to defend our entire nation and the strategic assets of our nation. So we are gradually building those capacities and building the numbers that we require. But at the same time, let me also warn you, what makes you think that only drone is a threat? You please look at the way the war was fought between the Hamas and Israelis. You saw mass rocket attacks happening. What if rocket attacks happen of that nature? We have to be prepared for defending that also. Therefore, what I'm saying is, it is not necessary that the next attack will be drones. Are we prepared for the future? And therefore, grey zone warfare or hybrid warfare can involve anything. You have to be prepared for all this. Yet at the same time, you have to send a strong message that anything of this nature, whether in the grey zone or hybrid in nature, if it damages our assets and affects our national security, we should reserve the right to respond at a place and time of our choosing and in manner in which we wish to respond.
That's a strong statement coming from the Chief of Defence Staff of India. What do you make of China ramping up military infrastructure both in Tibet and in Xinjiang?
Well, all that I would say is keep your guard up, remain prepared, don't take things lightly. We must also be prepared for any misadventure and respond accordingly. We have responded in the past and will do so in the future.
But has China gone back on its word on withdrawing from all friction points? Has it effectively created a buffer zone and come closer to achieving its 1959 claim line?
Well, I wouldn't really say that. Negotiations are happening at all levels, the political, diplomatic and the military levels. And, there is suspicion on both sides, because while the other side has deployed their forces and created infrastructure, we are not lagging behind anymore. We have also moved a large number of troops and resources. So there is a kind of a suspicion on both sides as to what can happen. So I think this will take time, and I think in a gradual manner, we should be able to achieve status quo. Because if you do not achieve status quo and remain in this kind of a position, it could lead to misadventures at some time. And therefore, I think both the nations understand that returning to status quo is in the best interest of ensuring peace and tranquility, to which our nation is committed to.
General, many thanks for speaking to us here at India Today. As always, free, frank and fearless. Chief of Defence Staff, General Bipin Rawat, many thanks for speaking to us.
अगर आप मुड़कर पीछे देखेंगे तो आपका कार्यकाल एक ऐसे जनरल का रहा है, एक ऐसे चीफ का रहा है जो रिफॉर्म्स लेकर आया है, जो आईबीजी है, और जिस तरीके से हमने देखा है पूरा प्रोग्रेशन, जो रीस्ट्रक्चरिंग देखी है, आपको लग रहा है कि आप सफल हो गए हैं अपने जो आपका लक्ष्य था उसमें?
देखिए, बदलाव हर चीज में जरूरी है। आप देखिए, देश बदल रहा है, तो क्यों ना सेना को बदलाव करना पड़े। आगे आप देखेंगे कि जिस तरह की टेक्नोलॉजी आ रही है, टेक्नोलॉजी का इस्तेमाल हो रहा है, टेक्नोलॉजी का इस्तेमाल युद्ध के क्षेत्र में भी होगा, और इसलिए ज़रूरी है कि हमें ध्यान रखना है कि किस तरह से टेक्नोलॉजी को युद्ध के क्षेत्र में हमारे प्रतिद्वंदी जो हैं किस तरह से इस्तेमाल करेंगे। इसीलिए हमको भी उनसे एक कदम आगे रहना है, और एक कदम आगे रहने के लिए बदलाव बहुत ज़रूरी है। हमको टेक्नोलॉजी इन्फ्यूज़ करनी है। हम सिर्फ जिस तरह से पिछली लड़ाई लड़ी थी, अगर हम उसी विचार से सोचेंगे कि अगले आने वाली लड़ाई भी हम जैसे हमने पिछली लड़ाई लड़ी थी उस तरीके से लड़ेंगे, तो हम कभी सफल नहीं होंगे। हमें किस तरह से आने वाली लड़ाई का सामना करना है, उस पर लगातार विचार विमर्श करना है, और इसके लिए बदलाव ज़रूरी है। बदलाव का मतलब मैं क्या कहना चाहता हूँ कि आप देखेंगे कि आने वाले दिनों में 3-3, 4-4 साल चलने वाली वर्ल्ड वॉर नहीं होंगी। लड़ाई जो होगी, आपको समय जीत हासिल करने के लिए बहुत कम समय मिलेगा, क्योंकि उसके बाद इंटरनेशनल प्रेशर, यूएन एजेंसीज आपके ऊपर दबाव डालेंगी। आपके जो प्रतिद्वंदी हैं वो आपको न्यूक्लियर से थ्रेटन करना शुरू कर देंगे कि भाई हम आपके ऊपर न्यूक्लियर अटैक कर देंगे। इसलिए आपको जो अपनी विजय है वो कम समय में हासिल करनी है, और कम समय में हासिल करने के पास आपकी सैनिक टुकड़ी ऐसी होनी चाहिए जो जैसे ही युद्ध की घोषणा होती है जल्दी से जल्दी दुश्मन के ऊपर हावी हो जाए और कुछ समय में, जल्दी समय में विजय प्राप्त कर सके। तो इसके लिए ये बदलाव, आईबीजीआइजेशन, टेक्नोलॉजी इन्फ्यूजन बहुत ज़रूरी हो गया है।
और एक शुरुआत आपके समय में और हो गई, वो ये कि कम से कम कॉम्बैट में महिलाएं नहीं, लेकिन मिलिट्री पुलिस में तो लड़कियां दिख गई हैं।
देखिए, आजकल महिलाएं जो हैं वो सामान्य अधिकार मांगती रहती हैं, तो ये अधिकार देना भी उनका हमारा हक बनता है, और उनकी ओर से भी ये प्रतिक्रिया बार बार आती रही। मिलिट्री पुलिस हमने इसलिए महिलाओं को इसलिए तैनात किया, मतलब हमारे यहाँ अफसर के ओहदे में तो हैं विमेन सोल्जर, विमेन ऑफिसर्स, लेकिन जवानों के रैंक्स में भी हमने विचार किया कि हमें मिलिट्री पुलिस में कम से कम शुरुआत करनी चाहिए। कोई भी नौजवान जब अपनी प्रशिक्षण के लिए अपने ट्रेनिंग सेंटर में जाता है रिक्रूट बनकर, बाद में भारतीय सेना में तैनात होने के लिए, किस तरह के विचार उसके इंस्ट्रक्टर, उसके प्रशिक्षक उसको ध्यान देने में बार बार उसके दिमाग में ये गढ़ते रहते हैं कि ये विचारधारा सदा आप अपने साथ लेकर चलेंगे। और इस विचारधारा को मैं सिर्फ 5 शब्दों में दोहराना चाहूँगा, और वो है, हर एक जवान को ये सिखलाई दी जाती है कि आप जिस भी कार्य को करने जा रहे हैं, आपने इन 5 शब्दों को ध्यान में रखना है, और वो है नाम, नमक, निशान, वफादारी और इज्जत। तो इन 5 शब्दों पर, इन 5 तत्वों पर एक सैनिक की नींव जड़ी जाती है। ये 5 शब्द इतनी गहराई से उसके दिमाग में बैठा दिए जाते हैं कि जब भी उसे किसी कर्तव्य का पालन करता होता है, इन तत्वों को ध्यान में रखते हुए उसे आगे चलते रहना होता है। और जब तक भारतवर्ष के सैनिक इन 5 शब्दों का अमल करते रहेंगे, तब तक मैं यकीन के साथ कह सकता हूं कि भारतीय सेना के ऊपर अगर कोई बुरी नज़र डालेगा तो उसका नष्ट कर दिया जाएगा।
एक जगह है जहां पर सेना को अकेले ही करना पड़ता है सब कुछ, और वो है हमारी लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल। वहां पर हमने देखा है कि पाकिस्तान की तरफ से और ज़्यादा सीज फायर वायलेशंस हो रहे हैं। हमने एक सैनिक भी गंवाया अभी गुरेज में।
अकेले मैं कभी क्रेडिट फिर भी नहीं लेना चाहूँगा, क्योंकि सरहद पर हाँ हमारे साथ हम लोग, हमारे सैनिक तैनात रहते हैं। हमारे साथ जम्मू कश्मीर में लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल में कुछ इलाकों में बॉर्डर सिक्योरिटी फोर्स के जवान भी हमारे साथ तैनात हैं। हम एक साथ मिलकर काम करते हैं। लेकिन हम जो भी कार्रवाई करते हैं और जिस तरह से हमारे को लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल पे इन्फिल्ट्रेशन या घुसपैठ को रोकना पड़ता है, इसमें इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसीज भी हमारे साथ काम करती हैं। वो लगातार हमारे को खबर देते रहते हैं कि कहाँ पर इन्फिल्ट्रेशन होने का अंदेशा है। तो इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसीज और आर्मी, बीएसएफ, हम सब यहाँ भी मिलजुल कर काम करते हैं। इसके अलावा जो कश्मीर की आवाम है
वो भी हमारे साथ मिलकर काम करती है। आपको ये सुनकर अचंभा होगा कि कई बार जब कभी घुसपैठ हो जाता है और आतंकवादी जब डेप्थ एरियाज में पहुंच जाते हैं, हिंटरलैंड में घुसपैठ करने में सफल होते हैं, तो कई बार हमारे को वहाँ की जो आवाम है वो हमारे तक सूचना पहुँचाती है और फिर हम जाकर ऑपरेशन लॉन्च करते हैं। तो ये कह देना कि आवाम हमारे साथ नहीं है, ये कुछ चुनिंदा लोग ऐसे हैं जो भटक गए हैं, लेकिन ज़्यादातर आवाम जो है जम्मू कश्मीर में शांति चाहती है और हमें खबर देते रहती है।
पर सर पाकिस्तान कैसे कंट्रोल होगा, क्योंकि वहाँ से तो सीज़ फायर वायलेशंस चलते ही जा रहे हैं।
पाकिस्तान तो मेरे ख्याल में कंट्रोल करने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, वो तो डिकंट्रोल होते 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 गिरते जा रहा है और अगर इस तरह ही वो करता रहा तो शायद हमें कोई कार्रवाई करने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। इट इज़ इन सेल्फ इमोलेशन मोड।